the Buddha Bhagavath. In the same way, the Fakyu says, a mind is able to save a mind. Another man is able to save a mind. The practice of good and wisdom is the best savior. Also, the Buddha has said in the Peing Cha Wanying King, the ordinary person does not listen to the Dharma, the ordinary person is attached to the Atman. However, in the Fa Yulya King Sutra of the Two Nights of the Dharma, or it is said, from the night when he acquired the path to the night of the parinirvana, every teaching given by the Buddha is true and not false. Now if the individual did not truly exist, why would the Buddha say, without lying, with my divine eye I consider beings? It must be concluded that the individual does exist, but only from the mundane point of view and not from the absolute point of view. Question. The absolute point of view is true and, because it is true, it is called absolute. The other points of view cannot be true. Answer. That is not correct. Taken separately, the 4 points of view are true. The true nature, the nature of phenomena, the summit of existence do not exist from the mundane point of view, but they do exist from the absolute point of view. In the same way, individuals exist from the mundane point of view, but do not exist from the absolute point of view. Why? When the 5 aggregates that are the causes and conditions for the individual exist, the individual exists. Just as when the color, odor, taste and tangible that are the causes and conditions for milk exist, the milk exists. If milk did not really exist, the causes and conditions for milk would not exist either. But since the causes and conditions for milk really do exist, it too must exist. Since the causes and conditions for a second head or a third hand do not exist in humans, it is out of the question for them. Such characterizations constitute the mundane point of view. B. What is the individual point of view? It is to preach the doctrine taking into consideration the state of mind of the individual. The latter understands or does not understand the given subject. Thus a sutra says, as a result of actions of different retribution one is reborn in different universes, one experiences different contacts and different feelings. On the other hand, the Pokun King says, there is no one who undergoes contact. There is no one who experiences sensation. Question. How do these two sutras agree? Answer. There are people who doubt the hereafter, who do not believe in sin or merit, who commit evil acts and who fall into the wrong view of annihilation. In order to cut these doubts, to suppress these bad practices and uproot this wrong view of nihilism, the Buddha asserts that a person is reborn in different universes, with different contacts and different sensations, but Falguna himself believed in the existence of a soul, the existence of the Purisa, and had fallen into the wrong view of eternalism. He asked the Buddha, Venerable One, who is it that experiences sensation? If the Buddha had replied, it is such and such a one who experiences sensation, Falguna would have fallen more deeply into the wrong view of eternalism. His belief in the Pujala and the Atman would have grown and been irremediably strengthened. That is why the Buddha, when talking to him, denied that there is a being who feels or a being who touches, characteristics such as these are called the individual point of view. C. The antidotal point of view. There are dharmas that exist as counteragents but do not exist as true natures. Thus hot, fatty, acidic, salty plants and foods are a counteragent in illnesses of wind, but are not a remedy in other sicknesses. Cold, sweet, bitter, acrid plants and foods are a counteragent in illnesses of fire but are not a remedy in other illnesses. Acidic, bitter, acrid, and hot plants and foods are a counteragent for chills but are not a remedy in other illnesses. It is the same in the Buddha Dharma. To remedy sickness of the mind, contemplation of the disgusting is a good counteragent in the sickness of attachment. It is not good in the sickness of hatred and is not a remedy. Why? Ajubhabhavana is the contemplation of bodily defects. If a hateful man contemplates the faults of his enemy, he increases the flame of his hatred. Meditation on loving kindness is a good remedy in the sickness of hatred. It is not good, not a remedy, in the sickness of attachment. Why? Loving kindness consists of seeking reasons for love for others and contemplating their qualities. If a person full of attachment seeks the reasons for love and contemplates the qualities of the person whom he loves, he increases his attachment. The contemplation of causes and conditions is a good counteragent in the sickness of delusion. It is not good, not a remedy, in the sicknesses of hatred. B. And attachment. Why? Because it is as a result of previous wrong contemplation, that wrong view arises. Wrong view is delusion. Question. In the Buddha Dharma it is said that the 12 causes and conditions are profound. Thus the Buddha said to Ananda, this dependent arising is profound, difficult to see, difficult to understand, difficult to discover, difficult to penetrate, knowable only by a sage of subtle and skillful mind. If a fool can barely understand superficial phenomena, how could he understand profound causes and conditions? Then why do you say that the fool should contemplate the law of causes and conditions? Answer. The word fool does not mean stupid in the manner of an ox or sheep. The fool is a person who is seeking the true path, but who, as a result of wrong thoughts and contemplations, produces all kinds of wrong views. For him, contemplation of causes and conditions is a good counteragent. But for people prey to hatred or passion who voluntarily seek pleasure or are angry with their neighbor, such a contemplation is not good, is not a remedy. It is contemplation of the disgusting or contemplation of loving kindness which would be a good remedy for them. Why? Because these two contemplations are able to uproot the poisonous thorn of hatred and attachment. Furthermore, there are beings attached to the erroneous thesis of eternalism who are ignorant of the series of similar moments that constitute a phenomenon. For such people, contemplation of the transitory nature of the dharmas is of therapeutic order and not of absolute order. Why? Because all dharmas are empty of self-nature. Thus a stanza says, to see the permanent in the transitory, that is a mistake. In emptiness, in the point of the transitory, how could permanence be seen there? Question. All conditioned phenomena have a transitory nature. That is an absolute mark. Why do you say that the transitory is unreal? Conditioned dharmas by virtue of the marks of arising, duration and cessation, first arise, then last, and finally perish. Why do you say that the transitory is unreal? Answer. Conditioned dharmas cannot have these three marks. Why? Because these three marks are not real. If birth, duration, and cessation were marks of the conditioned, these three marks would equally have to be present at the arising of the conditioned, for arising is a mark of the conditioned. In the same way, these three marks each would equally have to be present separately everywhere, which would be absurd. It would be the same for duration and cessation. Since birth, duration, and cessation, taken